Go ahead, say it now.
You in the grill pit, bitch.
Our distinguished guest, he is more than a scholar, he's more than a lecturer, he's more than an activist, he is a legend, a living legend amongst our people. He is one of the elders of the African community. He has given his life to study as well as teaching our people about their great past and the prospects for an even greater future. He is a man whose presentation of history is penetrating and powerful, and he has a way of bringing history alive. And I think that those of you that have heard him before, and those of you that are going to hear him tonight, know that there's no one that is quite able to put history, I'll describe it in quite the way that our lecturer tonight does. It is with great pride and pleasure that I present to you, and I also ask that you receive with as warm a reception as you can receive.
This is SAF1, your prison boy. And I'm gonna give it to you, bro. Or I ain't gonna give it to you at all. IGSTS on GP. You feel me?
White MFers.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says, because it's America and you should be able to do and say what the fuck you want. God bless America.
A man who was accepted as a god in Europe long before the birth of Christ, accepted quite a few Africans as deities. Imhotep, this great African who was the world's first multi-genius.
This is SAF your prison lawyer. I want to welcome you to the Grill Prig. Thank you, doctor, for that introduction. I couldn't have said it any better myself. And IGSTS. So say a familiar prison lawyer.
Knock it off. Would you knock it off?
No, I'm just getting ready. You know, you'd be looking at yourself on camera and be like, damn, why my shit was fucked up? Why didn't they straighten out my shirt? And shit like that. You'd be watching this shit. Welcome to IGSTS. This is SAF your prison lawyer with my man
Rob B in the middle.
We are the voice of the voiceless. And we're just gonna react to a couple different things. First thing I wanted to check out with that, the souljaboy reaction to Charlestonwhite. You know how I feel about Charlestonwhite, dumbass. But I just wanted to listen to it and point out some things so people don't get misconstrued about truly what's going on.
Stop it! You niggas is internet gossipers. Go on the internet and speak on everybody's business every week. Everything that happened to a rapper, y'all speak on it. That's your job. That's how you get paid. Y'all speak on that and you get famous from that. What is your real talent? Because I wrote and produced a #1 Billboard chart song at 16 that went 10 times, 5 million platinum, 5 million ringtone. 100%. That's what I did. So what the fuck did you do besides go on the internet and talk about rappers? Exactly, nigga. Cut it out, nigga. I touched $1 million at 16, nigga. 16. Touched 10 million. You niggas never touched 10 million. Never touched 20 million. Never touched 30 million. But you on the internet worrying about what the fuck I'm doing. Obviously, I'm doing 20. Stop.
Yeah, so I heard that. First I wasn't gonna watch the shit. I'm like, whatever, these motherfuckers going back and forth. Then I just checked in to see what souljaboy had to say. And what he said, I was like, it resonated with me, you know? I'm not here to say right or wrong. I'm just saying what he said resonated. But it's an endemic of a bigger problem that we have in our community. What did you think when you heard it?
Well, I know how you feel about Charleston White, and I know you don't like him.
It's not like we.
Why you reacting to what souljaboy says about Charleston White makes people look at our video and say, well, hold on, let me go back and look at the Charleston White video. So you giving them views by doing that.
Yeah, I don't feel, I feel like with that conversation, the problem with it is the same way I went to little Boosie's conversation, and I felt as though he was speaking for millions of people of color in this country when he got pulled over. Y'all remember that? Watch that video. The reason I went to this video, not to give anybody any type of views or make people go back and watch, but I wanted to be reasoning in a land of confusion and a prophet to what's going on today in our society, and say this is indicative of the ending of our world that exists, because we got two individuals who are practicing what we would call the Willie Lynch, the old against the young, right? That's Charleston White, being an older gentleman who should be a leader in this community, is he spends his time attacking the young.
And souljaboy feel like he been disrespected.
And he, in a sense, attacks the old. And this is part of the Willie Lynch conversation, but it's bigger than Willie Lynch, right? It's bigger than Willie Lynch. When souljaboy conversates to Charleston White, that fool, and or Candy, I should call him what that dude from that one show, Jamie Foxx, the slave show, that was the house Negro on the plantation. Samuel played him. That's him. When souljaboy's attacks, because that's what they want us to do, right? They want us to attack each other. Because that's what they're doing. They're attacking each other.
Well, that brings me to what Nipsey Hussle said. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle. God bless the dead. But Nipsey Hussle said something that was very profound and very interesting. Us as black people need to rethink the way we think about disrespect. Me, if you don't put your hands on me, you don't touch me, you call me a bitch, you can call me a hoe, you can call my mama a bitch, you can call my mama a hoe, but if you ain't put your hands on me, I could walk away. And that's what we don't do as black people. We don't walk away. We react to whatever we think is disrespect when it's really not disrespect because you ain't touched me.
Yeah,
you know the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names never hurt.
I feel that's, we talk about that being in prison, elevated thought, but this is totally different. This is put on by white America to show how ignorant we are.
But why do we react to everything that somebody said about us?
It's not about the reaction. It's tactical. It has nothing to do. You're gonna react to a certain point as somebody continues, like this dude continues to egg on souljaboy, because his whole thing is, like souljaboy said, is that he's based on tragic, dramatic bitchism, right? This dude profits off of gossip.
So what?
Men don't gossip.
So what?
It's
him. That's
it's
what
not.
he's doing.
It's not him.
So
it's
what?
our community. Because what you don't understand is that you look at it superficially. You gotta look at it to the roots to a nation. That's what you. So what I'm saying is that when you look at Charleston White and what he does, he's grouped in with us.
Do you know
I can't disassociate myself from him because he claims he's the African American in this nation.
Do you know what antagonism is?
It's not about antagonizing at all. You got to understand what they're doing. It's tactical. You don't see this in other communities.
I can't give you joy about antagonizing me
unless
I react to it.
It's not
or
about that.
You know that it bothers me.
It's not about that. He's gonna keep running his fucking mouth to somebody shut him the fuck up. And what it does is it brings down our community.
That's part of the problem too. You want to shut them the fuck up.
No, he got to shut up.
And how do you shut them the fuck up? You kill them. You beat them up.
Whatever's necessary. Because he's part of your community.
Why?
If you have somebody on your block that was doing something that you did not like, what do? Just keep walking past his house? No, you're gonna go up to him and say, "Hey, bro, this is community. You can't be talking to my little daughter like that. You can't be."
But Charleston is not talking to your little daughter like that.
You can't be.
He's not talking to your daughter like that.
He's doing things that are nuisance, that we're trying to build our community up. So you utilize him to say, yeah, he's right. So he's right when he says Nipsey.
I'm not saying he's right.
No, you're saying right. You're saying he's right when he says Nipsey Hussle should be dead. Are you right when he said?
He's voicing his opinion.
No, he has no opinion.
Why?
Because let me get back to the nation building and understand what a nation looks like. Mm-hmm. So when souljaboy says what he says, see, he's clueless, because when he looks to Charleston White and says, "I got more money than you do," he don't understand what he just said, because he's not being educated by the elders of his community. Mm-hmm. Money don't mean shit. I don't mean that. Money does mean, don't get me wrong, money means something, but money doesn't mean shit. But what he needs to say, what Ron B fails to understand in the elevation of thought, is this. It's the difference between rich and wealth. It's a difference between being rich and wealth. So he can show you all that money, but just like they did R. Kelly, just like they did Bill Cosby, they can come and start liquidating your assets.
I go back and I tell you, don't knock somebody else's hustle.
What are you talking about?
Charleston White hustle is to be controversial.
It doesn't matter.
That's his hustle.
Leave
him alone. Don't feed it and he won't get. Don't feed it.
Let me elevate the thought process, because I'm talking about nation building. That's because that's the one thing you don't understand, and that's one thing. That's the one thing that Soulja Boy understand, because if he was talking, he wouldn't be talking, showing you all the money that he has. He'd be showing you the factory that he has. I have a factory that builds cars. I'm employing this community.
And he not.
This motherfucker can't even say, I have a place. You gotta wear underwears every day. I got a place that makes underwear. He don't even have a place. He has a stack of money that at a time when they come with that RICO Act, like they did with Young Thug, all that money's gone. Where the money coming from? Ain't nobody buying your goddamn ringtones. But in fact, when you make ringtones, there's people that make money off your ringtones. It's not totally independent, because somebody's got to play that shit. He doesn't own a contraption that distributes the ringtone. Some white motherfucker probably owns that shit. So when I talk about nation building, because the problem with America and why Charleston White can exist is because it's independent. Let Charleston White be alone. Oh, okay. But we all came here on the same boat. We supposed to be part of a nation. Oh, he's part of the United States of America. So he can do that type of those types of things.
Charleston White.
But the reason why we have so many.
Charleston White say the shit that you scared to say.
I'm not scared to.
I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I'm gonna tell you why I say that.
I'm not. I'll be embarrassed to say that.
Are you afraid to say that like some of your peers do stupid shit?
He has no peers.
Huh?
He has no peers.
Why he don't have no peers?
Because
he's black. He's of a certain age group.
He has
but people of his same age group, people of his same color, do stupid shit.
That's almost.
And he talk about it.
That's not like a peer. That's cohorts.
What do you mean?
The word is cohorts, not peers.
What's a peer to you? What is a peer to you?
A peer is an individual. Like you'll be like somebody. A peer to me is somebody that I wouldn't use the word respect, but somebody where we're on the same level. A cohort is just a generalization. A cohort is somebody same age bracket.
We're not talking about a cohort. We're talking about a peer. A peer
He's not
is somebody of your same age.
You gotta respect him. You gotta respect him.
Of your same community, of your same culture.
When you think about a peer, you think about someone that you not so much idolize, but somebody that you don't dislike. See, a generalization is like, if you want to generalize and say, oh, Charleston White is black, he's the same age bracket I am, he's in the same, that's a cohort. So you guys share the same.
That's not a peer?
A peer is a little bit more like, you could say we're peers or like that's my peer. When a cohort is a little bit more general term. You can utilize them, but you'll be utilizing them the wrong way. People recognize him like, oh yeah, he's a peer, but I'm not going to get into the peer. I'm just talking about what's necessary. Is the reason why we had so many slave rebellions that were thwarted by white folks is because we had people like Charlestonwhite, and we could not get out of our own shit. We could not build a nation, and that's what I'm talking about. The reason the Caribbean or Jamaica has so much successful rebellions. That remember Jamaica uplift itself up, Haiti. Now they have their own countries because they were able to kick the white folks out of their countries and through rebellion. The reason why that happened is as we were coming over. Remember, the Caribbean is the first place where slaves actually land. South America, places like that before they get into the United States. Mm-hmm. What they used to do with us, they brought us over as a group. So they would bring a whole family over, a whole community over, understanding that they're going to get more work out of them. But what they didn't realize when they brought that whole community over, the loyalty remained in that community. Because remember, they might have took my sister and put her in a house, or my cousin and put her in a house, but she was my cousin, and she always had that loyalty to me. They might have took me and put me in the field, took my daddy and made him, but we all had always a family. So even though my sister was in the house, she was still loyal to the family. So when it was time to cut that motherfucker's throat, she was right there with us. What happened when we came over here, they got smart about it. They was taking individuals from all different tribes. So now you get that tribal, that's why we can relate to it so much. Yeah. The red and the blue and the Pentecostal votes, because we all came from different parts of Africa. When we came over to the Caribbean, we might have been a little bit more segmented. You might have been my distant cousin, but we could still communicate with that drum or with our language. Mm-hmm. But when we came over here, it was a little bit different. We was different. So they was able to take you and put you in a house. And that loyalty was really, really weak. We came from the same country.
Divide and conquer.
So that's when you get a Charlestonwhite and his behavior. See, that's what's wrong, because he's the person in the house now. He's making a little bit of money, so now he's talking about everybody because that's how he gets paid. And like you're right, by us watching him or by us talking about him emboldens his behavior, right? But the problem is that what we need to recognize, the reason I say souljaboy is wrong and he's wrong and I'm right.
But if you don't let an antagonizer know that it bothers you, he eventually
it's not about bothering. It's about correction. So I'm not gonna sit there and argue with a dog about a dog barking. That would be ignorant. So I never said anything about his conversation. I just said I don't like him. What I'm trying to do is correct the matter because people don't go off thinking that he's right.
Who are you to correct him?
I'm here to correct him because I am a teacher. First and foremost, I have enough knowledge to not let foolishness go astray. I'll be a fool to let a person do something too. Oh, I see you getting ready to drive your car without brakes.
Let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question. Is this a free country?
No, it's not a free country.
But it's supposed to be,
It's supposed to be a free country.
Right.
Yeah.
So I could do and say what I want to say.
You can do it. He can definitely do what he said.
Why bothering with Charles White
Why does it not come with correction?
Huh?
I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to those people who think that he's right.
But you are.
I'm not talking to him.
But
I'm talking to those people who think he's right.
You are talking to him.
Why am I talking to him?
You are talking to him.
I'm talking.
You think he ain't gonna see this video or something?
No, he don't watch this shit.
He gonna see it.
He don't give no fuck. He don't give a fuck.
And he gonna react to it.
He doesn't give.
And he gonna get views off of it.
He don't give two fucks about what we're talking about because he knows where he is.
Eventually, somebody's gonna see this video. And he's gonna get wind of it.
Just want to make sure the camera's still on, folks, because I didn't want to lose this shit. But I always say that I'll applaud him. What I'm trying to do is because he can continue, because the same shit he says is gonna be the same shit he get hung by. I'm just saying that the reason I brought this conversation up because I wanted to, like with the Bootsy, I got great feedback on Bootsy. People love the conversation on Bootsy. Thanks for the comments on Bootsy. And my deal is with this, I'm just trying to give people an understanding of this reasoning and why both gentlemen are wrong and why we should be coming together opposed to fighting each other.
They both wrong.
Because
I get it.
The young shouldn't be, it's a bad, shame on us, because we should be leading the young. Shame on us. We should be showing that young brother how to establish the frameworks to accompany that does more, because a nation is designed, or a nation is described by its resources. What resources does any black motherfucker in this country have? Not even Jay-Z can say he owns a resource.
I had a conversation with...
Not even Jay-Z.
You're right. I had a conversation, and he's a billionaire.
He's a billionaire.
And I had a conversation with 4 African-American women 2 days ago at Billy's. Shout out to Billy's on Grand. And they talked about how we are the only race of people that can't come together. The Mexicans come together, the Asians come together, the whites come together, the Puerto Ricans come together. Everybody come together and resource with each other and get up top. You know what I'm saying? Look down University Avenue. Look how we seen University Avenue transition from being white owned to Asian owned.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
But I already explained to you, that's why, because the way you say let Charleston White speak is the reason why Hmong people, they understand community, they understand loyalty.
That's him.
No.
I'm just
listen,
saying,
you can't say one thing and negate the other.
Don't fuel.
You can't
what he's
say,
talking about.
You don't see a Hmong person on there talking about another Hmong person.
But I'm saying, don't fuel what he's talking about.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay,
You ask yourself.
That's why I bring it up as antagonism.
No.
If
Listen,
antagonism,
how could you say something about university? Oh, why the Hmongs? I'm explaining it to you. He's like, no. Don't worry about this, because Charleston White can just do what he wants to do. I'm like, the Hmong community don't have that. That's why they own university. Why we don't? We was there first. We was out there first. It was a Popeyes.
Yeah,
it was a Popeyes there. There ain't no Popeyes no more. It's all those Asian places up and down university.
Yeah.
We had a Popeyes there first, a church, whatever the hell it was. We had it sitting there first. We had that whole community. We went in there and started selling dope. Went to jail.
We tore down the community.
And they came through and took the community over. Now look, and they ain't leaving. They ain't going nowhere.
No.
In fact, right now, it's an election going on. Shout out to John Thompson. We hope that you win. But they flew in a Hmong from Seattle, Washington, because they know the Hmong community is so fucking strong. And they stick together. And nobody's voting for that man. Nobody's voting for him. That's why. That's why Charleston White can't exist.
I'm not worried about Charleston White existing, but I'm worried about us having this conversation about Charleston White, because if we continue to have this conversation about Charleston White can continue to exist.
Well, no. Okay, I'm gonna explain that. Let me explain that to you.
You're bigging up his
No.
views.
Let me explain that to you.
Because there's some people gonna watch this video right here. Some people watch this video right here, and they gonna go back and see, and they gonna want to see who Charleston White is.
Let me comment on that and explain it to you, because I'm not doing it for views. I'm not doing it for anything.
No, not for us, but for him.
No, I'm doing it because when a young cat comes out and he watches Charleston White and he wants to say, like you, some of the things Charleston White is right. Then somebody might watch Souljaboy and be like, oh, Souljaboy got money. There's nobody coming out with the reasoning behind it and explaining like why both of them were wrong. I thought that was necessary, because I don't want a kid, my son, anybody, a king, them to look at, Souljaboy is right, I'm gonna go out there and get some money. Like, man, think about nation building. Think about employing your people. Think about ways that we can bring factories into our community so we don't have to sell dope no more. Don't nobody want to sell no dope. In fact, the reason we were selling dope because there wasn't factories in our community, but we were smart enough to run companies. So why don't we just get ourselves some companies and shut these white motherfuckers out? Because what satellite do we own out in space?
None.
Not a motherfucking thing. But see, Charleston White be like, you're wrong, because the United States own. Listen, Charleston White, I want your ass to watch the Jetsons, because there ain't a black person on the Jetsons, and your black ass ain't gonna be up there neither, you goofy motherfucker. Period. Now we can move on.
I like what TD Jakes said the other day. I was watching TD Jakes the other day, and he said rich people don't dress rich.
No,
he said, the people who dress rich?
Poor people.
The poor people.
That's the truth.
We spend our lives on a Gucci bag or Gucci watch.
But black. He's talking about he's and I don't like that neither, because he's talking about black and white, and he doesn't like. I don't mind motherfuckers making statements like that, but explain yourself, brother. Explain.
He explained himself very
well. Why do black people?
I didn't say it like he said.
Why do black people buy those things?
Because we trying to keep up with the jungle. We stuck we stuck in it with the lynch theory.
Explain
the house nigga and the field nigga.
Explain it to
trying
a baby.
To keep up with the
make
jungle.
it so simple, baby can understand it. The reason we buy those things
we trying to keep
is
up
because
with the
we hate. I'm gonna explain the Willie Lynch theory a little bit different, maybe for the overly intelligent individuals. We hate things that are like us, and we want those things that the most aren't like us. So what I'm saying, I hate my brother, but I want to be white. You saw it with Mike. He was black, and his ultimate goal was to become a white man. He said it was a disease or whatever. He didn't have to paint his face white. He didn't have to do his nose. He didn't have to do his hair, put that wig on. He didn't have to do that. But the closer he came to white, the more accepted he was, and he was right in his mind. But they make us like so right while you went to the Gucci belt and all the other stuff and having those things, because those things mean something. It means I made it in America. I'm not poor no more. But we said that as a kid, right? When your mama didn't have nothing to eat, you was like, Mama, we ain't gonna never be like this again. So to get those things in your mind means something, but really they never mean anything, because if you go to the white person's house, they ain't got none of that shit.
That's right.
None of that shit in their house. In fact, they're gonna have an old Honda sitting in their driveway. You know, they got shit like that. You know, they're gonna have an old Maytag. They're gonna have an old Sony TV. They ain't gonna have to bring.
They ain't gonna have an 85 Cutlass sitting on 24.
No, they don't do that type of shit. That's not. But they allow us to do it. So that's a good example of Charleston White. And you say, well, that's what we do. We got to do that. We don't have to do that. What we got to do is buy ourselves a factory. What we got to do is start making some underwear. Because I talk to my white friends, and they talk about these clandestine things that's going on. And
I went on and watched Steve Harvey.
Okay.
Talk about something, and he talk about why we invest in all these material things and we don't invest in investment, like building our future, like our kids' future, our kids' future, and our kids' future,
well,
and stuff like that.
The problem again with Steve Harvey is, again, when he say investments, he doesn't own anything. He doesn't own. It's not a Steve Harvey. You know, he had a little bit of apparel and stuff like that, but that's not owning something, right? You want to again, a nation is defined by its resources. Again, I'm gonna say that a nation is defined by its resources. So in order for you to be a nation and for you to have anything, you have to have resources, because resources is invaluable.
Well, he went on to say that he pulled out the stats on how much money black people spent over a 2-year, 3-year span, and how much money white people spent over a 2-year, 3-year span. We spent so much money, and we made so many people rich. But we could have used the same money. The same money that we spent buying this stuff.
It's not factual. But because what he negates, he says it's such a superficial conversation. But we know why that happens, because we understand why they got rid of Rondo. We understand why they went into Central Park and got those people out of there. We understand why they got buts.
But you kick all that to the side.
No, you can't kick it to the side.
Why are we spending our money? Why are we spending our money like the way we spending our money?
Let me say it to you again, because you mustn't get it. Rondo, that was our wealth.
You're right.
If you take that away, every time we build up anything,
I'm not
every time
that.
so black people learned, you know, through the future, what they taught them from the future when they took that shit away from them, they gave them government jobs. Well, don't worry about it. We're gonna give you government jobs. Cause we understood what wealth was.
I'm not taking that away from you.
So now you fast forward all the way today and ask that question, like, why we keep spending our money? Because we've been trained, and like you went to prison and they trained you to do a certain thing because it was good. That same corrections behavior was done through Rondo, to Black Wall Street, to Chicago, to all these different places where every time we try to establish something, that's why Ida B. Wells has been scrubbed out the history books, because she points this out.
And this is the problem that
Ida B. Wells, read her book.
And this is the problem that I have with how we watch University Avenue transition from white owned to Asian owned.
Yeah.
Because these Asians, they came here. I'm not mad at them for that. I'm not mad at y'all. I'm not mad at the Hmongs or the Asians or nothing like that for hustling like y'all hustle. But I'm mad at the urban community not coming together and doing the same thing. We was already here. We could have got it. We could have had it. We could have did the same thing, put our money together.
That's what gets me mad when you negate a Charleston White, because he's the reason why we don't have things like that. Because so in order for them to get that, they have to incarcerate us. Mm-hmm. In order for them to get that, they have to trick us. Mm-hmm. In order for us to get that, they have to give you money when you can have land. They have to give you money when you have land. See, land means something. Land means a lot, you know? So it's part of nation building. So what they've been smart at doing is tricking us. You know, same way they tricked the natives when they came over here.
Which is why I want you to listen to this lady right here. I want you to check this out right here.
Put it on your phone. Let's listen to audio. Well, just go ahead and play it. I'm gonna turn this down.
So having said that, and not really having time to do history, I just want to give you one
She coming up on my
trajectory
the
of
camera.
anti-blackness in this country since its beginning. And this
And
slide
who's this
will be
lady? First,
deliberately
stop it.
dense.
And you say her name.
We can
It's
literally.
Dr. Robin DiAngelo.
And then what is she talking about?
She's talking about how white people can't talk about race.
Yeah, give me a few minutes. Just play a few minutes of it.
Think about it as
This is the perfect part right here.
state-sanctioned, organized crime, but at least discrimination against African Americans from the beginning. And it starts with kidnapping and 300 years of enslavement, torture, rape, and brutality, and it carries on. And about a quarter of the way in, you see bans on testifying against whites, which made it technically legal to murder black people in this country, and you are now in my lifetime. And I'm gonna say it again because I get a lot of white people seem to think it ended a long time ago. We're in my lifetime about a quarter of the way through that slide. And then we see about 2/3 of the way through employment discrimination, and we are in 2018 with copious empirical evidence. Right? So let's pick it up there. Employment discrimination, educational discrimination, bias laws and policing practices, white flight, subprime mortgages, mass incarceration, the school to prison pipeline, disproportionate special ed referrals and punishments, testing, tracking, school funding, biased media representation, historical omissions, and so much more. It is a system, not an event. It's the system we're in, and none of us could be, and none of us were exempt from its forces. If we want to be unique and special individuals, then we need to figure out how whatever we see is special and different about us set us up into that system, because it did. So I'm talking, I know white people really well. I'm talking X, and you're like, ha, I was Y, right? Okay, you were Y, most whites are X. How did Y set you up? It did. Right? The question is not if, it's how. I repeat it, it's a system, not an event. And how do we cope with the moral trauma of what I just read to you? Resmo Menican has a beautiful book, My Grandmother's Hands, where he talks about.
She's reading from her book that she wrote right here.
So I'm just gonna, before I say what I'm gonna say, I'm just like, what am I supposed to get out of this so I don't misconstrue what your point is?
She's telling you from a white people perspective how they think. She's telling you the cold, hard truth.
Okay. And you know what? One day a few days ago, I was walking down the street. I heard two philosophers, I think, talking, and one dude was just, some young cat. Other cat was another young cat. He walked up to him. He said, "What's happening?" He said, "Everything is everything." You understand?
Shout out to Ken.
Everything is everything. And what I want to tell you is that she's writing a book about her people, not as a testament for anything other than I don't know if she thinks this is going to give her absolution when she gets to heaven.
To me, if she's
I don't know if she's won absolution when she gets to heaven. The way she talks about it is systematic. Every black folks already know. So what she's bringing to us, we already know. So we can only assume that she's talking to her people, the ones who think that they're colorblind, the people who think that Charleston-White is right, that he makes some sense. She's talking to them because the system's been set up, and I said this several times, to allow individuals like him to grow, to become wealthy. And he's not wealthy, he become rich, right? Because he's not wealthy. He doesn't have, the souljaboy makes a great point. What the fuck do you have anything but gossiping like a fucking bitch? You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's what females do.
Well, to me, she's confronting her people, though.
She can confront them all they want, but they've been confronted with the truth. And they was confronted, when they went into Africa and they were given those 10 commandments, Exactly when Africa brought the 10 Commandments out and gave it to their goofy ass.
So what would you think about her? What would you think about her if she didn't say anything? If she didn't confront her people? If she wasn't proactive?
To me, it really doesn't matter if she did or she didn't. I've already known it. And she's not educating
you
me.
already know it.
She's educating them.
Okay.
And the education that the scholarship that she's providing to them is only going to make her wealthy, not us wealthy. Because black people are not going to look like that. What they're going to be looking at, because they're so confused and they want to know about Charleston White. They know what Charleston White says, but few people know what's going on that January 6th hearing about Trump and his idiots trying to take over.
So you saying that the general public should listen to you instead of her?
No,
is that what you saying?
I'm saying the general public should listen to what they want to listen to, but they should find truth. Now, I don't know how that truth looks. That truth could be Charleston.
She's showing you how that truth looks.
That's her truth, not my truth. That's her truth. We already know that I tell you.
She's telling you she's relating with you from her own experience.
I tell you every time we talk that they created racism. I tell you that. They created racism. So when she goes back and she starts talking about these systematic things, we already know they exist. Mm-hmm. When you try to go get a job and they try to use your criminal history against you, that's racism. You'll be like, no, I committed a crime. I'm like, well, yeah, but there's several incidents where individuals committed crime and they didn't get a jacket for it. So it's more prevalent in our community.
So you kicking her down because she's being proactive?
She's not being proactive.
Why not?
That's reactive.
Why not?
How is it be proactive? You know what proactive means? Can never be proactive because she's writing a book after the fact. It'd be prior to it. If she was born when the shit conceptualized, she could then be proactive. She's not proactive at this particular junction.
Okay,
she's just writing
with words. She's playing with words.
No, she's right. She's right. I'm telling you how I see it. You can only correct me and say
she. I'll tell you why she's being proactive. Because things keep happening. George Floyd, Castillo, Breonna Taylor.
That's in your lifetime.
Shout out to the feds. Shout out to the feds
for charging those officers and Breonna Taylor's thing. I don't know how much is going to come up with it. I'm not with the feds, but these officers need to go to jail for the bullshit they pull. Fuck Kentucky. Fuck Louisiana.
I thank them. I thank them for what they did. They arrested them officers and stuff. But I personally think that they're going to slap us in the face like they did with Kim Potter.
Well, it's black, and that goes back to her the lady being proactive. Because you understand, before George Floyd, before Castillo, before Tamir Rice, before Eric Garner, before Trayvon Martin, before all of them, there's several. I can go on and on about black men being killed in the streets by police officer violence. In fact, and there's more names that's being forgotten. And I hope that these names won't be forgotten.
You seen the scroll the other day?
But that's nothing.
I didn't even know about all this. That's just Minnesota.
It's just Minnesota. That's nothing. Compared to everybody. I mean, right now I guess we're trying to make a point out of it. But there's so many black males. This is endemic to our community right now because of video and we're YouTube and Facebook. We're able to not have our truth be, and that's why I'm glad the brothers called me from the joint today. Shout out to Derek Jordan, shout out to Mahdi Ali, because every time anybody calls from the joint and they speak to either one of us, they're appreciative to the platform because we're the only ones that allow them to tell their narrative without it being corrupted by this white racist system, this media, this mass media system. So they're really appreciated to the fact that we allowed this platform to exist, that we took time out of our day to let them call in and tell their stories. So I'm not saying that I'm doing the best I can. Ron B doing the best he can, and we just want. And out of all these million people who being affected by the criminal justice system, we're the only ones who are attempting to make this happen at this level. I'm sure there's everybody out there in their lane doing what they need to do, but we're the only ones, and we're not really getting any love from our community just because they're because people want to watch Charleston White. Something popped up on my camera. I don't know what it was. It was a message.
It's still recording.
Okay, your message popped up.
But I ain't seen nobody yet that has people calling in from prison.
It's been
on their show. I ain't seen
no. Let me clarify that. I've seen that happen, but they have people like Suge Knight call in. For prison.
Superstar.
Young Thug call in for prison.
Superstar.
Or somebody associated with him. We have people that nobody even knows about call in, and we put them on the tube, and that's why when it comes to
that's why we the voice of the voice.
Exactly, and that's why we keep it real.
Suge Knight got a voice.
Well, he don't need.
Young Thug got a voice.
He
got a platform. He got people following. He got a rule following.
He doesn't need. See that whole populace, like that whole Charleston White, this populace, like they have this little bubble that they're in, and they play these little games.
Quit saying his name.
I'm saying his name because saying his name because it's important for us to understand and call it what it is. This individual, and for people to recognize it, and for people to get upset about it. When I showed Marvin Haynes' video, how this 16-year-old young child was being told by police officers as he was kidnapped from his home. Kidnapped from his home.
By the police department.
And his mom didn't know where he was on a false warrant. Shout out to Marvina, Marvin, Robert. Shout out to all y'all. Appreciate y'all for y'all coming on the show. We're going to free Marvin. Kidnapped him from his home. People didn't know about that. So the whole Charleston White deal is for us to start naming these individuals and for people to get sick when they hear his fucking name. Because we got to understand what they're doing to our community. Because as these individuals, like you say, all these individuals with these platforms, I got a platform. Who are losing? We barely have a platform, but yet still we reaching back, trying to pick people up and push them forward. Shout out to Derek Jordan with his new trial. We talked resentencing, going back for resentencing, and we hoping that brother's gonna walk in September. We hope to have Derek Jordan back in our community. Building those building blocks. I'm talking about nation building. We need to build a nation, and they don't want to hear that. They want to hear that. And like I say, they want to hear this foolishness. They want to hear two motherfuckers bickering like bitches over some dumbass shit instead of us coming together, like Pimp C said. You want to talk about Pimp C said? There's so much motherfucking money out here. Why can't we come together? Why can't we come blue, red, north, south, east, west, young, old? It's Willie Lynch shit. Come together. That's your brother. We came on the same ship. We in the same ship, on the same motherfucking boat.
We're the only group of people that can't come together.
You think they like you? They think they respect you? They give you a little bit. They give you the good part of the pig, the intestines and the legs and the ears. You think you eating good? Shit.
Thank you, master.
Yeah.
Let's we sick.
I want to play Derek Jordan's audio. The more I talk to that brother, the more I hear him, the more he's done phenomenal things in a joint. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And remember, in Illinois, they don't
have a lot of programming.
They don't have no programming because he's a lifer.
Yeah,
And he can sign up for it, but he can't get it.
And he got his GED since he been there.
The motherfucker, he's a scholar. He's a master scholar in prison.
Been to college.
He's a master scholar. The brother is so articulate and so profound with his understanding of life, of giving back, of everything. That the only thing they can do is keep him in prison, right?
He's everything that rehabilitation in prison should be.
And then.
What's up, man? What's up? I'm doing fine. I've been missing your telephone call when you call me.
That's Marty.
Alright,
Turn down a little bit.
This the phone.
I got something to say.
It's gonna be like that because this is gonna take it out of there. It's gonna take it
Give
out.
us an update to his case.
This is Derek Jordan calling me from Cook County. I'll be able to take because I got a compressor on there. So basically what he's saying is that he was at 15 years old, he was sentenced to a life sentence. It was basically, they gave him 86 years, but because it doesn't say life on his contract through the state property, they were able to wiggle through all the second chance, all the stuff that they could do because it was so that's how they utilize, that's how they
manipulate
the system. And that's how they keep people in prison. Now, if this brother wasn't wise enough, he couldn't have saw through that loophole of what they were doing. And they I say about that instead of trying to institutionalize criminal justice, what we should start doing is having it community orientated, right? So all the money you spend on the police to try to govern our community, whatever tactics you're trying to use, once you take that money and spend it on the community, empowering the community to deal with their problems within their community. And if they could do that, too much of the money's been spent on these institutions, and we've been giving all our power to these institutions, opposed to us regaining our power and managing our community instead of complaining to them and having them come in and adjudicate the issues, because they adjudicate them all the wrong way.
Take care of them. And you know, if you ever go to, y'all been to prison?
Yeah, I've been to prison.
I don't know if black man ain't been.
Yeah, I've been. You know if you.
Here's one right here.
No, but no, listen. Oh yeah. Yeah, he been locked up.
Yeah.
I've been locked up.
That's what I want to say, because I'm careful with my words. You go to these doggone, I go into the prisons now, right? I'm looking at the COs, these big ass corn-fed ass fucking, it's like a sick fetish. They did ancestors plantation on them.
That's
now I get to see how my grandfather stand over the plantation, spoke to the niggas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so if you notice, the prisons are way out in the rural areas, right? They travel their ass out there. And they treat you like shit. But I promise you, I tell the government all the time, nigga, the Department of Corrections ain't never corrected no behaviors. Ever. Nope. Ever. As a matter of fact, it made them hardened criminals. And then y'all put them back out here on the street and say, fend for yourself. We make it, because we've been making it like that since birth.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but don't be complaining about recidivism.
Right.
And how you gonna fix this shit.
Right.
When you know motherfucker well you make money off of them.
Well, you put recidivism, that term you put into our community, right? It wasn't in existence until you put it into our community. But back then, when you say they travel out, they don't travel out. They live there. That was the criminal justice and the corrections facility was a white urban stimulus program. Because when they took those farms away from them individuals, they had to give them something. In exchange was those prisons. Those prisons themselves makes billions of dollars. The prisons don't make, but the people who work around those prisons, whether it's the CO, whether it's the people who bringing food in, bringing paper in, commissary, they're making money off those prisons. I challenge you to look at the people who are on the boards who's benefit from the prisons. It ain't us. It ain't us. I got something to say.
Deputy Commissioner of Corrections, Curtis Shanklin.
The black dude.
My thing is,
Curtis.
like, I ain't never been to prison, so I can't say nothing about prison because I never been.
I'm on camera.
But I'm just getting a shot.
When the police get behind me, I start thinking about shit I might have did. Shit I might have did. Even though I know I ain't did nothing, but I think about it. Damn, I'm like, damn, maybe I robbed the bank. Maybe they think I robbed the bank.
Yeah, you might look like somebody that might
like,
rob the
oh,
bank.
Shit, like, oh,
You might look like somebody.
Police get behind me, I'm scared as motherfucker. Because I feel like I'm going to get accused of a crime that I didn't do.
You know how many times I get in my car and pray every day that the police don't pull me over?
But that's the conversation.
That's part of my prayer every day.
It don't
when
matter.
I get in my car.
If I did nothing wrong, and I know I ain't did nothing wrong, I still start making them shit in my head like I did some
Before
wrong
I
shit.
knew I ain't do nothing wrong, I prayed because I know I ain't finna do nothing wrong. And I'm driving from my house to my job.
But when they pull you over, what you do? What's your routine when they pull you over?
God bless me. I've never been pulled
I'm
over.
saying, so if they pull you over, if they pulled you over, what would you do?
Put my hands on the steering wheel.
Right. Pray they don't kill you.
I pray they don't do nothing.
Nope. I rolled the window down.
Anybody ever made a song called Fuck the Ambulance, Fuck the Fireman, Fuck the Librarian? Anybody made a song say Fuck the Airline Pilot? Motherfuckers is really making songs that say fuck the police. Police officers don't seem to think.
They're the problem. They don't think like they're just mad. What the fuck? We were mad because we got a legit. But my conversation has been, and this. Let me see how you feel about this. Is we watched the little Boosie reaction where he was getting put over by the police for no apparent reason other than he's tired. He's saying he's tired, and I said that was Boosie. I'm not a fan of Boosie. I really don't listen to his music. But when he said what he said, he was saying what every black man that get pulled over by police feels. And that's why it was so important, because he's saying what we feel. I'm tired. I'm tired of y'all pulling me over. I'm tired.
This white man tell me, you complain about police, but y'all killing yourself in your own community.
That's a lot.
Wait a minute. How dare you talk about my fucking community? When I go to your goddamn community and the sidewalk ain't fucked up, the park got clay courts, the school, the education system working for the, you know what I mean? And I'd rather move my kids out there where your motherfucking kids at.
Right.
You know, the quality of life y'all living, wait a minute, in my community, we pay just as much, if not more, in taxes. Y'all don't pay shit. Y'all get all kind of tax breaks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now you want to complain about the fucking return on your investment? Y'all not investing shit in this community.
Nothing.
And so what you get is what you invest in.
Right. I go a step further to that. Let me say.
Police in Anoka County and Ramsey County.
It's not even.
In Anoka County, the police live out there. In Ramsey County, the police don't live here.
Before we even get there,
I'm from Cleveland. If you're a Cleveland cop, you gotta live in the city of Cleveland. If you're a Cleveland fireman, you gotta live in the city of Cleveland. You know, that's where it is in Ohio.
But go ahead.
In order for you to work somewhere, you gotta live in that same city where you work at.
But my deal is about the second-class citizenship.
Where is I gotta go, man. My wife gonna kill me, man.
What's the deal, y'all? Shout out.
We got Matt.
Money in the building.
We want to get you on. We want to get you an interview with you, bro. We got the number. We gonna plug up with you, man. I'm gonna hold you down. All right, now. We gonna need some more.